Welcome back to the Healthy Skin Coach Show. I'm your host, Takashi, helping you get clear skin. And today I have a special guest, and it's focused on small businesses. My guest is SAHAR Andrade, and she is a consultant who helps small businesses and entrepreneurs grow their brand, helps them with social media and marketing. And she's helped me tremendously in growing my business and helping me tailor some of the marketing strategies. So I'm really happy that she's joining me on my podcast.
Thank you, Takashi. Thank you for having me.
So let's first get into your background and how you kind of first started becoming a coach for entrepreneurs.
Actually, yes, I started my business in 2011 and from scratch. And I started it based on my own knowledge and experience of international marketing and cross-cultural marketing. And I took whatever I learned throughout this year. I was also project manager for a lot of big projects that were international. And I said, you know what, let me work for myself and see what happens. So I invested $500 and I said, this is what I'm starting with. And by the end of the year, I'm not going to put any other penny beyond $500. And I need to cover this $500 at least, and then move forward. If not, this is not for me. And actually the first year ended up, I did not put one single penny, but I built a very strong foundation of my brand. And also I'm certified. It was the beginning of the social media when people didn't know what to do. And actually I got certified as a social media strategist in 2007. So I put everything I knew in building my brand online. And I used LinkedIn. LinkedIn was my savior the first year. I built a brand and a transition from one industry to the other. And I built that strong foundation that is basically making me survive and thrive till today, like 9 years later. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. And by the third year, I was 6 figures. So it's about how to build your brand, how to have a strong foundation that you can keep building on top of that basement or that foundation. And as you know, I'm a business advisor and coach at SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, which is a subsidiary of SBA, or Small Business Administration, for the last 8 years. I have helped thousands, of entrepreneurs either to start up or to grow their business the right way. I have clients that are making like millions right now, and it started from scratch. So this is what I'm saying. It's about the branding and the foundation.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, these thousands of entrepreneurs are really thankful for your help, because when you're starting, you don't know what you're doing. And getting a great mentor is always the best way to start something, because we can learn from the mistakes of the past and not make those same mistakes. And yeah, I'm also in my first year of my business, and I'm growing my brand as the Healthy Skin Coach. I want to help everyone optimize their health for clear skin. And I've put in more than $500, but I know it's an investment for my future.
Absolutely.
And having girls from Africa and South America reach out to me because they are in pain and they are suicidal about their skin just validates the notion that I know I'm doing something right. I know I'm going to keep on putting content out there and keep making YouTube videos and podcasts and growing my brand in order to one day have a large enough platform where I can share to the world that you have to fix your diet first in order to heal your skin. No amount of drugs or topicals will help you do that.
And you know what, Takashi, you have to follow your passion, and what you're doing, you're putting a lot of passion. And if you remember when we started working together, you had the base, but we tweaked few things that made like a wow effect. So usually what you need is very little tweaks that might be like, oh my God, this, I know it's small, but you don't know the effect it goes, like changing the colors, like popping the logo somewhere rather than somewhere else. Different fonts can make a difference. A background color can make a difference. All these are little things that people don't get. And yes, whatever you're doing is adding value and showing how you add value. That's what will make people gravitate to you. about the videos that you're doing, it's very important, specifically in the era that we live right now, the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, that you need to have online presence steady every single day, because people will remember who was there for them. And you're there not using their fear and not trying to make money out of them, but actually to offer value. And guess what? You're going to be the business, or businesses like you that are doing the same are going to be the ones that stand tall after all this is said and done, because people will remember what you have done for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And entrepreneurs need to know that it's a slow but steady, process. There's no rise fast. There's no overnight get rich scheme. You got to put in the work every single day. And that's what I've been doing. And I've been tweaking little things here and there based on Sahar's advice, and I'm seeing the results. One of them being I have a lead magnet. So I offer the free Healthy Skin cheat sheet, which is a 5-page slide on what are the best things to do in order to get clear skin. In order to get that, you have to put in your email. So I capture that email and I give you a free cheat sheet. And that was monumental, because I'm now seeing how many people are actually interested in skin advice. And I'm getting their emails so I can reach out to them down the line and say, hey, if you need someone who can mentor you in getting healthy skin, then I am your guy, because I've been through it all. I've healed from severe acne and severe eczema, and I know all the drugs that are involved in healing your skin. I know skin science, I know nutrition, and I know how to biohack your life for longevity. So these are my obsessions, and I want to help you optimize your health starting today, based on my research.
Well, the lead magnet is very important. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs either don't know or they don't see the importance of it. So getting someone's email is a commodity, is something that has value, that you're basically giving them something in return. People specifically now, we are bombarded with thousands of emails every day, right? And we don't want to be bothered. So I will give you my email only if I feel that you are giving me value. So a lead magnet cannot just be like a tree on a page and that's it. No, it has to be something that is very thoughtful. It has to be something that will lead to immediate value to your client. And once you do that, you put it in a nice formatting, and you can do that easy. I mean, you don't have to be an illustrator to do it. You can do it on Word or on Word or on a PowerPoint, and using your colors, package it nice, and you upload it on something like Dropbox or like Google Drive. So it will have a link, and then you take a picture of it and you put it on your home page. Lead magnet. Lead magnet means like you are getting a lead, which is an email address, and you are attracting them to you. So people, for them to read this, because if I'm coming and I know that this is what I need in my life right now, I don't mind sharing my email with you. So remember, your net worth is your network. So the more emails that you gather, and then you have these emails, you make sure that you just don't waste them. You put them in a database. Even if you start with 50, you need to start a newsletter, an e-newsletter to these 50. Don't do it every day, because people don't like to be bugged every day. Maybe once a week or twice a month. And put value. Don't sell right away. And this is another mistake that entrepreneurs do. They try to sell you something right away just by getting your email. And people freak out from that, because there are so many scams outside. So you need to first build that trust. So send value once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then by the 5th time, maybe you say, you know what, I have great news to share with you that I'm so excited about. I started my first online course. Like, you are sharing the news without being salesy. And that's what people are looking for. The engagement, building the trust, building credibility. The story that you just shared is what we call in marketing your unique selling proposition, meaning that it's only unique to you. You are telling people that I know where you're coming from because I have been there. And this is something that we discussed before. So your uniqueness usually comes from your story. And that's why you have to be in touch with who you are and what you want to share to make sure that you are authentic and it comes from the heart, and say it in a form of storytelling. Because at the end, this is what people remember: storytelling. And like Donald Miller say, you're not the hero of the story as an entrepreneur. You're just the guide. Your customer is the hero.
Beautiful. I tell my story in every single one of my videos, and I'm getting comments saying that people are like, wow, your story is helpful because I'm experiencing this right now, or your tips on nutrition or skincare is helpful. And so I know I'm doing the right thing, even though my audience is small right now. I mean, I just started.
It will grow.
Yeah, I know I'm on the right path. And I promise I won't bombard your emails. I will only send you the healthy skin cheat sheet and invite you to book a free appointment with me in order to discuss your health, your nutrition, inflammation inside your body, or your skincare routine.
And you're adding value, and that's what people want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're adding value.
Another tip from you that was very helpful was that I was using in my logo green and yellow colors. Initially, I picked those colors because I watched a video of someone describing how you want to pop out on YouTube when it comes to your thumbnails, which is the picture that you initially see for a video. And I noticed that the color schemes were usually red or white or blue on most of the thumbnails. So I picked colors that didn't match the majority of the thumbnails out there, which were green and yellow. And it helped my thumbnails pop out. And you helped validate my initial hypothesis.
Actually, you did it for a good reason, but a different reason, because you wanted to pop out. So one of the things that people don't realize is that marketing, 80% of it, and branding is psychology. So you need to understand the psychology of your customer, not of you. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I'll come to that in a minute. But who you market to is very important to know who they are, so you know how they feel. And that's why demographics in marketing change to psychodemographics. So you need to actually know how your people are feeling and what pushes them to do certain things. So our brain entertains and explains things in a different way when it sees colors. So there is something called the meaning of colors in marketing. Thankfully, you have chosen the right colors, because you're talking about nutrition, you're talking about natural food that comes from the earth or ground, and the earth is green. And then you're talking about getting better. So you have the yellow, which is the sun rays and the optimism. So every color has a meaning. So one of the things that I share with my clients is like, do not use a lot of black in your website. Some people have that background all black. Don't do that. People will bounce like that from your website. And then you start wondering, why is my bounce rate 90%? It's because of your background. Because the black background looks at someone as like someone is judging you, or it's a judgment against you, or it's a block, or it's sadness. The other color that you can use, but not everywhere, is the red color. People think, well, it's love, it's passion. Yes, but it's also danger. It's also stop. It's also fire. It's also the blood color. So there is a lot of things that are associated with colors. Like, for example, the restaurants have their walls in a certain color because that color initiates the hunger centers in the brain. The bars have a different wall color because that color initiates a difference in the center of thirst in the brain. And that's why we have to be mindful of the colors that we choose about our brand and in marketing that we use.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of fast food restaurants use red and yellow. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, In-N-Out, all these are red and yellows. I was wondering why that is. Does it create hunger when we look at those colors?
Well, yellow does, or the cream color. Red is to attract attention. Because the eye, wherever it moves, if there is something red, it will acquire your eye right away. And if you notice, the red is not everywhere. It's not Coca-Cola, for example, where everything is red. So I have a lot of clients that basically argue the fact, like, what about Coca-Cola? They're all red. So my answer to this, unfortunately, you're not Coca-Cola. And I don't mean it in a diminishing way or in a demeaning way, but we need to understand that when we start, we cannot compare ourselves with someone like Coca-Cola in certain things, but we can compare ourselves to big corporations or big organizations so we can become like them. And what I mean is Coca-Cola started hundreds of years ago or 100 years ago. Marketing was different. Meanings were different. There was no internet, and they already have a recognizable brand. So already we grew up knowing that Coca-Cola is red. You know what I mean? So it's something that we are already absorbed without really thinking about it. So yes, we need to compare ourselves as sustainability, as big organizations, but there are things that we need to be smart about, specifically when we start.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that color schemes were so important, but you just need a mentor who can teach you or coach you these things, because guaranteed entrepreneurs are stumbling along the way, fixing this, fixing that. And it's much easier to grow faster with a mentor alongside you.
Absolutely. And a website, remember, website needs to be refreshed all the time. So that's why the content that you're putting is helping you get discovered. Because when you keep putting fresh content, you are sending a signal to Google, telling Google, hey, I have fresh content, come and look at what I have. So it marks to Google that you are important to check. And that's why your SEO becomes better and you can rank higher. Of course, yeah, depending on the content that you put. I mean, it's not like any content that you put that Google is going to look at as important. It has to have value and it has to be put the right way with the right keywords.
And I just hired a web developer who can help improve my website using Wix. And I was using Weebly, but the functionality were kind of...
I told you that, remember?
Yeah, you did. See, she told me that, and I ended up hiring a web developer to do it for me, because I'm spending most of my time creating the YouTube content.
And we need also to remember that a web developer might or might not be an SEO person. There are two different things, and people think it's one thing. No, it's not. So when we interview for a web developer, we need to make sure that they know what they're doing in SEO as well. And if they don't, it's fine. As long as they're good web developers, we can always hire someone that can do SEO or study it and do it ourselves.
Yes. And thankfully, my guy didn't know how to do SEO, which is great. And yeah, SEO is so important because I want to write blogs, a bunch of blogs, but I need to set up my website in a way where the blogs are easily readable and shareable. And I didn't know how to do that. And SEO allows for your blog posts to be on the front page of Google or maybe the second page, but it allows you to climb up those ranks, allowing more eyeballs to read it, which will have more visitors on your website. And hopefully you can convert that into a customer or a client.
And you have to be on page 1 of Google.
Page 1.
If you're not on page 1, you don't exist.
Exactly.
How many people you see going to page 2? And I do, because for certain reasons, but a lot of people don't. Like 80% of the people will not go to page 2. And just to let you know, Takashi, what you can do instead of just waiting till your website is done, you can start blogging on LinkedIn. And then when your website is up, you can just take the blogs, put them on your website, just change the title and the pictures.
Yep, that's also a good tip. And Sahar helped me with my LinkedIn and updating my profile because I was missing a lot of the social media links, the Twitter links, and in my bio, I was missing a lot of content, important content about who I am, who my customers are, and what my purpose is in building my brand as the healthy skin coach. Yeah, and LinkedIn is super important in growing your network. It is the number one for the professionals out there. You got to manage all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just so many things to keep in mind when you are an up and coming entrepreneur, because you have to get your name out there. Otherwise, how are you going to get customers? How do you get clients?
Exactly. And if you have to make priorities, you need to be present in the social media, at least in the social media channels where your audience is. And that's why it's very important to know who your audience is. Like if you have mainly women that are professional, then Pinterest is the place for you to be. Also, professional is LinkedIn. You know, if you have a younger demographic like millennials and now even Xers are doing that, Instagram would be your place. YouTube is good for everybody, you know, and then Twitter comes after that. And the only thing about Instagram and Facebook is that their SEO is good within the community. It's a closed space, meaning that Google can tell that you have a Facebook page and an Instagram account, but it will not rank every post because it's called a closed community where you have to have a username and a password to see the posts. Versus LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest, every single post can be ranked on Google. So that gives Google a lot of content about you that can be rankable. So you have to work smart about that.
Yep. And I was testing different strategies, and I was posting the same thing on Twitter and Instagram. And on Twitter, I get zero love. And on Instagram, I was getting a lot of love from people all over the world. So I knew that I should focus on Instagram. And when I reach out to people who complain about their skin, I would comment, hey, visit my website. I want to help you heal. And for the most part, people are receptive and they slide into my DMs, and we, start a conversation on what foods they're eating, what topicals they're using, what kind of lifestyle they're living. And I usually can notice immediately what the problem is.
Yeah.
So Instagram, for me, has been a great way to grow my brand. And then YouTube definitely is one where I post my podcasts and my skincare tip videos, and that's growing slowly but steady. One of my videos blew up a little bit with 2,000 views, and that one was titled "Why You Shouldn't Use Dove Soap on Your Face." And if you understand skin science, then you know that you don't want to use synthetic ingredients on your skin, especially on your face where it's sensitive. And even though I got like 15 dislikes and only 10 likes and a lot of people hating on me, I knew I was doing something.
It's ranking you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was putting out videos that helped me rank. So now I know that I should make similar videos.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that though. I mean, but controversy always attracts eyes. And we need to remember that YouTube is owned by Google. So Google will give YouTube always, because it's Google, so it will help you rank better. Okay, and that's why I say working smart, like Pinterest, for example. Pinterest is about SEO and traffic. Remember I showed you my Pinterest, like you can have a very small number of followers, but the views or impressions that you get could be hundreds of thousands every month. So it's about getting those eyes on your product, getting that traffic into your website. And that's why Pinterest is very important too.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, I have a Pinterest page, but I don't completely understand it because there's a bunch of pin boards. But when I try to upload it, it doesn't look right. And
you can always just adjust it in a way to look the way you want it. But it's very important for traffic, extremely important for traffic. Pinterest was the first social media that you could buy products from it directly without even having a merchant account.
And I know that majority of the audience is female, so they are more inclined to buy something on Pinterest when they like it. And you got to understand, again, back to psychology, you got to understand the male mind and the female mind.
Yep.
What interest, and what demands they have and what they are interested in.
Even the colors that you use for females and males are different.
Yes, definitely. I always bring this up when it comes to marketing. So all these Instagram, butt models have sometimes millions of guy followers, but when they try to promote a product, they can't really sell it because all their audience is guys and not the females that they're trying to sell to. So their conversion rate is low. In the modern age, you can't just have a nice butt. You have to have a personality. You should have interests, and that can grow your authentic audience much better.
And you have to add value, no matter what. Any successful business is built on how much they add value to their audience. Marketing is basically changing the wants of people to needs. And you will never change the wants to needs till I perceive as a client that you're adding value to my life, that I'm going to benefit from what you're giving me. If I'm not, I won't give you a second look. And this is what people are missing. It's not about pushing your product or service saying, hey, I'm the best. It doesn't work that way no more.
When you look at my business, I add the most valuable asset to your life, which is health, which is the number one thing. But more people will spend thousands of dollars on clothes and shoes than on their health and helping to optimize their health, which is crazy to me when you think about it, but this is the world we live in.
And that's why you have to come to a role of an educator.
Yeah, I have to grow my brand. You don't really value your health until some medical condition pops up and blindsides you, like it did to me at the age of 26. And I was debilitated in my bed, bleeding all over my sheets, which was not fun at all. And when that happens, then you prioritize your health over anything. I don't care about clothes and shoes anymore. I just care about my health. And now I want to help you understand why your health is more important than the shoes and the clothes out there. What has been the biggest challenge of your career?
Putting my passion and my brand in a way that other will understand it like I do, rather than being in my head. And that was my biggest challenge when I started. And I had one of my mentors put me on the right track by telling me, no one cares about you. No one cares about your services. No one cares about what you know. All what they care about is what they're going to get out of your services or what value you're going to add to the services. And since then, everything changed. Since then, I was able to reach people, to be successful, to make the money I'm making now. And everything was an easy path after that. And that's why I always say, never sell the process. No one cares. Sell the benefits of the benefits.
And I went to a marketing session with a marketing guru for free, but he also said, you got to sell the end result, not the product, not the service. So my end result is for you to add 10 years to your life. My end result is for you to get clear skin, to heal your acne, to eczema and psoriasis. And that is my end result, which is the most valuable asset if you think about it. But I have to market it and present it in a way that the audience and the customer and the client understands they're going to get healthier skin and that they're going to add years to their lives by optimizing their health and reducing all that inflammation.
And they're going to be attractive, and it's going to increase to their self-confidence. It's going to increase the fact that they can become more assertive. They can become in being the leader of their life. You know, there are so many things that you can add up to that. So this is my words of wisdom to all entrepreneurs. You can never know till you know. Meaning, if you don't ask, you don't get. And one of my biggest factors of success is that I would put myself in front of people and ask them, so how can we work together? If you ask for something, you have 50% chance that you get it. If you don't ask, you have 0 chance to get it. The other thing is, don't be, because you are a small business owner, make you small-minded. Don't come from a scarcity point of view. Come from an abundance point of view. Never say, I'm too small for a big contract. Because if you think that way, you will never get any contract. And another thing is, Never say, I just want to make $1,000 a month, or I just want to pay my expenses. Because guess what? This is the only thing you're going to get.
Yeah, don't limit your beliefs. Your biggest weakness is your limiting belief. That's what the marketing guru said to me. And there's stories of people out there who, I think it was Jim Carrey, who wrote that he wanted to have $10 million within 2 or 3 years. And he was able to get that through his movies. And
well, this is manifestation and law of attraction. It has a lot to do with abundance, believing in abundance. Mm-hmm. But we let our fear and our self-limiting beliefs be the biggest obstacles. So what I always say is get out of your own way. You are the only obstacle to your success.
I mean, my goal is big, is to eradicate eczema in the world. Now, that's my big goal. How do I get that? Slowly building my reputation, my brand, my audience, and I'll write a book eventually, but I'm gonna grow my platform. And we're living in the digital age where we can reach billions of people almost at a fraction of the cost. Free for YouTube, for Instagram, for Facebook, and for Twitter. It's free to create an account. You got to provide the value, provide the content that can reach billions of people all over the world. And I really like that you said you got to take risks and go out there and just ask. And that's what I did. I Googled and searched on Amazon the top authors on nutrition, on skin, and on gut health. And I simply emailed them saying, hey, I run this podcast. I want to invite you and discuss your research and your book. And please get back to me. And I emailed like world famous nutritionists and doctors, and they've come on my podcast to speak. I had Dr. Microbiome, who is a world renowned doctor on studying the gut microbiome and has been funded $50 million by the National Institute of Health. I've had Oz Garcia, a celebrity nutritionist for Heidi Klum and Fortune 100 CEOs on my podcast. Yeah. All I did was ask. And yeah, you
ask, you don't get. And don't be small-minded because you are a small business. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I want to say, and I want to leave everybody with, is as an entrepreneur, we need to hustle every single day.
Yep. And I'm hustling every single day. And I would say almost every single minute is because when you're an entrepreneur, your future is in your hands. No one's going to give you money until you work for it. And all the time that we waste on TV, whatever it is, video games, unless you're in the video gaming industry, that's a waste of time.
But you can balance all that also, Takashi. I mean, you can balance that. If you look, for example, like I record a lot of shows, right? So I reward myself when I do a big project. Okay, I'm going to watch one episode of that. You know what I mean? It's my reward. So if you balance yourself and like how many people we know right now that are spending hundreds of hours in front of Netflix and Amazon wasting time when they could be something else, doing something else.
And that's a good point. I reward myself with half an hour TV. I'm always reminded that time is your most valuable asset. And if you are entertaining yourself, you're not growing and you're not building your brand. You're not building your business. And you got to juggle that. You got to have time management skills.
Absolutely. And mindset, and the right mindset.
Yes. And I mean, just look at the inspirational videos of Elon Musk, who doesn't sleep at all. He basically works and bleeds Tesla, SpaceX, and that is why he is a billionaire. And that is why he is successful. Now, in my business, I emphasize the importance of sleep.
I was going to say that.
Yes, sleep is very important for health. So in my business, I emphasize sleep. And I actually would love to coach Elon on health, but he's too busy building his business. But I do
You can never know till you know, Takashi. You can never know till you know.
That is true. I might as well DM him, slide in his DMs.
You can never know till you know.
Exactly. But I do worry that he's building chronic inflammation in his body by not sleeping.
That's true.
Well, this has been an amazing podcast. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Sahar, for joining me. Where can the people, the billions of listeners and viewers find you?
On LinkedIn, I am Sahar Andrade Speaker, or just Sahar Andrade. You'll find me on LinkedIn. On Instagram, I am Reinvent Yourself with Sahar. And Facebook, I'm under Sahar Consulting. Twitter, Sahar Consulting. So my websites are two websites. The one that is for coaching and business advising is www.soyouthinkyoukanoentrepreneur.com. And my other website is www.saharconsulting.com. Sahar is S as in Sam, AHAR consulting.com. On Pinterest, everywhere, either under Sahar Consulting or Reinvent Yourself with Sahar. And you can find me on all of the social media as well.
Awesome. If you are an up-and-coming entrepreneur or you want to grow your brand, I highly recommend Sahar Services because she has helped me tremendously. Now go like all her pages and bombard her websites. All right.
Thank you so much, Takashi. And stay safe.
Yes. Stay safe, stay healthy. As always, Taco is out.